afternoon, stampers and paper crafters. Welcome to my Wednesday afternoon Facebook Live. You can find me pretty much every Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Mountain Time here on my Facebook page. My name is Sheila Keith. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Parkland County, Alberta, and I like to bring creativity to you a little bit every day. So we have a little bit of business to deal with. I have started giving away last week's creation to people that have commented or shared that particular video, and I want to go ahead and be on it today and do a draw for the card that we did last week. So let's just look down here for a second and a little refresher. I can't see, my feed isn't working very well. Okay, I think that's not too bad. Okay, so for anyone that joined me last week, this is the card we created. It was an embossed resist technique, and we colored with with the blending brushes. So I have everybody's name in here that commented on last week's video, and I am not getting any feeds here, so just bear with me a second while I try and find my feed. It's not working. Why is this not working? Facebook did a bunch of changes, at least hit my page yesterday, and now I'm not sure where everything is, which is a little frustrating for me. I am really sorry. I cannot find. It was said I was live, and then it comes up on watch, and then I can't see comments, so that's kind of a bummer. So if you're commenting, I can't see them, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, we have in front of me the names. One entry per person that commented to win this card. I don't know if I put this on my tablet, if I'll have any better luck. Maybe I should try that. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness, Kelly Shepherd again. You're a very lucky lady. So you have won this card, and I will get that out in the mail to you in the next day or so when I get back out. Thank you so much for joining my Facebook Lives and participating. If you would please bear with me, I cannot see my comments on my laptop, so I am going to try to see if I can find them on my tablet, because I would love to be able to participate with you or interact with you, and I can't see any comments, so this isn't working. Technology is just driving me absolutely bonkers. And of course my tablet is in silent mode and it doesn't like my password. Are you serious? Today we are going to create two cards using the Prized Peony Suite. So let me throw that out here while I'm struggling away a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yay. Hopefully my volume is off and I don't give you a whole bunch of ugly feedback. Let's hope for that. Okay, I can see comments now, so this is good. Oh my goodness, this is like a control room here. I never thought that was crafting was going to be all about. Anyway. This stamp set and this set of very intricate dies. Now, the only die that we're going to use today is this border die, but I wanted to quickly show you a project that I had made some time ago with this suite using the dies. So the dies get cut out of a series of pieces of cardstock that you can add some ink to. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I sponged the edges, and it's layer upon layer of layer, and the fit together to make this beautiful multi-dimensional peony. And then there are a couple of cutouts that will make the leaves. And then in the background here I've added some vellum. Don't quite recall what sweet or set of dies that came from, but a stunning card. It'd be a little thick to mail. It'd probably require extra postage, but absolutely stunning. And then the designer series paper that's on here is also from the paper, the coordinating designer series paper that goes with this suite of products. So we are going to use some of the stamps today, and we're going to use this one die. So I'm just going to peel that off and let's put it here and get these out of the way. And where are my projects? So we're going to do two. We're going to do sympathy cards, and the first one is going to be a more masculine card. So this is the card here. Pardon me, I just want to straighten this a little bit. So tone on tone, I've used gray granite cardstock, gray granite ribbon, and this is the Prized Peony paper. And then inside, just a little bit of green, and this is where we use the die to decorate the inside of the card. So that's the first one we're going to do. So let's quickly put that one together. So for supplies, of course, we need a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So that's all done. I'm just going to burnish this fold. And then I have a 2" by 5 1/4 piece of the designer series paper and a 2 1/4" by 5 1/4" piece of gray granite cardstock. I have this little strip here that I am going to put on the envelope, or we can stamp. It's either way. So I've already done the envelope. And then we have a 4" by 5 1/4 piece of Whisper White for the inside. I've already die cut a piece of champagne foil for the where's our card here? For the mat for the greeting, and then we will stamp the greeting and cut it out with this small stitched circle die. And also you will notice that this here is also embossed, and that's with the painted texture embossing folder. So what I want to do first and foremost, I'm going to stamp my greeting. Now on my original I did it in black and I thought it was a little harsh. So I'm actually going to stamp that greeting in gray granite, so it's not quite so prominent, a little softer if you will. And that is so sorry for your loss. And just hold for a few seconds so you get a nice ink transfer, so that not quite as harsh as it was being done in the black. And then we're going to emboss. So I'm going to bring in the emboss machine and we'll get these two things done all at once. And then we'll have to bring it back when we do the second card, but let's get one card at a time. So here we go. Here's the emboss and die machine. So I'm set up here. This is a 3D embossing folder, so I'm set up for embossing. And what I want to do is I actually don't want to emboss the entire piece. I want to leave a bit of a smooth layer, which will make it easier for me to adhere my designer series paper. So I'm just going to let a small piece of the cardstock stick out of the edge of the folder. Remember, wherever possible should always be hinge edge first, and the logo is the top side. So when it says Stampin' Up, should be facing up. Okay. So we're done with the embossing folder. So it's going to look like this, and it's hard to see. I'll show you better again once I get the machine out of the way. Now we're going to bring the machine back in and we're going to cut our greeting. So we have our platform, our adapter, a clear plate, and I know mine are very well loved, our stamped greeting, and our die. So I'm going to just line that up, pull this back a little bit so I can see that it's centered. Put on a clear plate, hold it tight, and put it through. I'll just move this out of the way for now. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. So I've got part of this is not embossed, and I'll show you why I'm doing that here in just a moment. Card base, please. Okay, so I'm not going to glue this down quite yet. I want to take a piece of ribbon that I'm going to end up wrapping around, so I want a little bit of a lip there to wrap. And I'm going to put a bit of glue on one edge, or adhesive on one edge of the Designer Series paper. And remember, the trick with the Stampin' Seal is a light touch. So that is about where I want to have it line up. And then I'm going to actually do it this way because it'll just be easier for me to see. And then, oh, I've gauged it right. It just makes it easier to adhere the Designer Series paper to a non-textured surface, okay? So then you've got it, it looks like this, but you've actually only used that much product. I'm going to add adhesive to the back of this layer. And then I'm going to take that strip of ribbon and I'm just going to put it over the seam to camouflage the seam a little bit. Just wrap that around to adhere on the back where that adhesive is. So that way if you have a little bit of an overlap or a bit of a blank space, it's not going to matter because this will hide it. And then we're just going to glue that on the front of our card base. Oh, don't move, please. Might have made that a little short, but that's okay. Now, if you're concerned that your ribbon is kind of wobbly, you can take a glue dot. Let me take one off of the roll here with my scissors. So there's a glue dot there, so I'm just going to pull that off. I'm just going to pull the ribbon up. And that just gives it a little security so it doesn't, I don't like, unless it's a bigger piece of ribbon, adding adhesive on the back of it because it can get kind of messy to deal with. Okay, so now we have this greeting and we have our stitched, scallop circle die cut. That is done in champagne foil, which is still available through the annual catalog. And I always like to use my liquid glue when I'm adhering to foil. It does take a moment or two longer to dry, but I just feel you get better adhesion. And it's just such a tiny border that's going to show there. So while that's drying, we don't want to move it when it's going to still move. We'll work on our inside of our card. So all I really have to do, oh, I should have done this when I had the machine, I forgot. I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to bring the machine back in because we are going to use that beautiful edge die wherever I set it. I know I took it out. Here it is. And we're going to create a bit of, oh, it's dirty on that side, a little bit of focal point or decoration on the inside of our card. So we're already set up for cutting. Now if you can at all possible, when you're working with one of these longer skinny dies or a big rectangle die, if you can do them on a bit of an angle, it does help reduce the amount of warping that can happen. Okay, please don't move. All right, here we go. There we go. Yeah, my plates maybe need replacing. They're getting pretty dirty anyway. So this is going to be the inside of our card, and what we want to do is just I have some soft seafoam ink and a couple of leaf images. Well, yeah, from the I don't think I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use just one. Ink it up really good. Stamp once, stamp twice. So you've got a second generation stamp there. And you can also do that on the envelope if you choose, or you can add that strip of designer series paper. Entirely up to you. And then bringing back in our gray granite ink, we're going to stamp My Thoughts Are With You, and I'm just going to line this up on my grid paper and see how good I do here at getting this straight. Not bad. All right, so let's close this up. Let's put a couple of, whoops, not upside down though. Let's put a couple of dimensionals on the back of this. I played around with this on the positioning. I wasn't sure quite where I wanted it at first. And I'm bringing this up, overlapping the ribbon just a little bit, about like that. Press it down. And then I'm going to bring our ribbon back, and I'm going to just cut a small piece, I don't know, about 3 inches or so. We will put it to size here in a minute. And bring back my glue dots. So I want to make it look like a support ribbon. So I want to put my glue dot about there. Then you make your loop. Oops, try and make your loop. Now, I'm not sure that gray, it may be a color for something. I know that there are many colors that represent certain things. If gray represents something I'm not aware of, and if I've offended somebody, I greatly apologize. Please advise me and I will make it right. And then I'm just going to put a glue dot on the back of that. And set it beside my greeting. And then, just to finish off the front of the card, so very, very monochromatic almost, I'm going to add one of these from the Elegant Faceted Gems. Now, I'm told that this is petal pink. It does not look like petal pink to me, but okay. And it kind of looks a little pink when I put it on the ribbon, but it, I don't know, more of a taupey color as far as I'm concerned. Whoops. And we're just going to put that at the crossover on the ribbon. And then we just have to put some adhesive on the back of this. And there's the inside of our card. So for the original one that I did, I stamped the leaves like I did on the inside of the card. And for this other one here, I just put a strip of the designer series paper. It's a great way to use up scraps of designer series paper. Okay, so now that's a masculine card. You could give that to someone, to a man, or to someone where a man has passed away. But let's do another take on this. Still sort of monochromatic, but more feminine. So we're going to use gray granite ink again, and this time we're going to use petal pink. So here is my card. Still using the Prized Peony Suite. Tone on tone, a little bit of the designer series paper. I've taken the stamp to the back of the envelope. It's elegant. And I reversed the greeting, so I put "My thoughts are with you" on the front, and "So sorry for your loss," and I stamped that huge, highly detailed peony on the front there, with a bit of the ribbon. This is a Blushing Bride ribbon, but because it has the metallic in it, I can kind of get away with putting it with petal pink. Blushing Bride is a much pinker pink, but I think it works quite well. So let's quickly put this one together, because both of these cards are quite quick, but very beautiful. So in our little kit of goodies, so we're going to use, I don't know if you noticed, but I used the subtle embossing folder on the front of the card, and I've actually embossed everything, including the designer series paper. So we have a bit of stamping to do, and then a bit of embossing. So we have an 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 petal pink base. We have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of petal pink, a 1 inch by 5 1/4 piece of designer series paper, and this actually happens to be the back side of the same paper we used on the masculine card. The die that we need for the grading, we have an envelope, a scrap of Whisper White, a champagne die cut scalloped oval that we're going to use for our mat, and a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White. And with this one, we're not going to die cut like we did with the other one, because we're going to stamp that beautiful peony image. So what we're going to do, let's bring in, and I have to tell you a funny story about what happened. So you notice that there's some color on my stamp. So I had not used this big image, and I had pulled it out to make this card, and when I was setting my stickers on, it got stuck on cardstock before I got it on my stamp. So this stamp now has a piece of cardstock on the sticker. I don't know if it'll ever come off, but it still works just fine. Makes the sticker not stick very good, but it's okay. All right, so let's bring in our petal pink. So the first thing that we want to do is stamp on the petal pink, and we want to stamp that one in full strength. So ink up really good, and then we want it offside a little bit. And then we're going to do a second generation without re-inking for the inside of our card. We just want it very faint, because we're going to put our words over top of that. And then while we have this out and everything is all messy already, let's bring in our envelope. And that's going to be full strength on the envelope. Here we go. And I think we're done. So, before I bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, let me stamp my greeting, and I'm going to do that in gray granite just to keep it on the softer tones. And I should clean my stamp. Oh no, I should be okay. Where'd my greeting go? Oh, here it is. I used gray granite before, so we should be okay. ink here, I might as well do the inside. And I'm going to stamp this right over that second generation peony, right in the middle. There. And we can close that up. We're done stamping. So, set that aside for a moment. We're going to glue this on to the edge here, right to the edge. And let's bring back our die machine. It's set up for cutting, so we might as well do that first. So that means we're going to cut out the greeting. Okay, I'm going to do this sideways, otherwise I can't, no, I don't always tell anyway, but I can't tell if it's straight. Hello, Carrie. How are you? On this, oh, I moved it. On this sunny day, eve of colder weather to come. Okay. And then I'm just going to take these plates away. And this piece here that we stamped and glued our designer series paper to, I'm going to put it through and emboss the whole thing. Making sure I don't have an extra plate in there. And there we have that beautiful subtle texture all the way through. So we are done with this. Let me get it out of the way. Bring in our card base. Now before we glue this on, we need to add some ribbon. A beautiful day for card making for sure. So like I did with the last one, I've measured and I'm going to add my adhesive to the back. So this is a double-sided ribbon, so I am going to really play down that Blushing Bride that's quite a bit darker. And as straight as my eyes will let it get, we'll wrap that around, and then we'll glue that to our card base. And the same as before, if you're concerned that that ribbon is a bit loose, you can just grab a glue dot and just kind of try not to direct the ribbon, just try to press it down, and that'll keep it nice and secure. Now, a little trick, because this is a double-sided ribbon, for tying this bow so that I can keep all the glitter, because normally it will turn around inside. See if I can do it, explain it and do it. I can do it, whether I can do it and explain it. So this is what I normally do when I tie a bow, but then it would come through and you would have this bright pink side. So what I do is I take it and I twist it before I push it through. And then you have to fuss with it a wee bit. Don't know if I got the best start to this one, but we'll try. Because I want to keep that glittery side for everything, the tails and the ears. Ears, is that what you call it? The loops. Forward facing. That worked out pretty good. I don't want this to be an overly large bow. I don't want it to overpower. There we go. And then just trim their tails. So if you have a double-sided ribbon, you just do that twist before you put your loop through if you do your bows the same way I do. And that's going to go right here where the paper and the cardstock meet. Now I have my champagne foil mat and my greetings, so I'm just going to glue those together. And again, I like to use the liquid adhesive, particularly when I'm adhering to foil. Foil or glimmer paper, either one. I can't seem to pick that up. There we go. So I'm just going to let that set for a minute, and while that's happening, I'm going to glue my inside. Put our bow on. I know they're here. There we go. So if you're watching, please make sure to comment or share. You may have to tell me that you've shared, depending on your security or privacy settings, and then your name will get entered. I check back on the Wednesday morning of the following week for all comments, and then I do a prize draw, like I did when I started off today's video. So there is that one. So that's 2 cards that we made today. So here is our original. So this is a little bit lighter. I stamped a little bit heavier with that one. And then this one, our more masculine card. Hopefully that's all in the view, along with all my mouse. So that's what I have for you today. This was the Painted Textures embossing folder. This is the subtle embossing folder. Oh, you're welcome, Carrie. The other one is the peacock ribbon with the shimmer in it that I am always fussing with to try and get the same side out on the tails. But that does happen sometimes, or sometimes one side is shiny, one side is matte. So yeah, so there you go. That's what I have for you today. Like I said, please comment, even if you're watching this on the replay, because I go back and check all of the comments. And I will draw for these 2 cards next week. And again, Kelly Shepard was the winner of the card that we did last week, which was this one here, where we did a emboss resist technique. And I wanted to share something else with you, if I can. I had it here a minute ago. What did I do with it? I had played around with it a little bit after I had done my live last week. Oh dear, it's not here. And I had stamped the background image in black and then colored it. It wasn't nearly as striking because the black dulled, but I bet if I had done it in black embossing powder, which we don't sell anymore, but if you have it, it would be absolutely beautiful. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and be back next Wednesday. And I will also be here on Friday for my very last Friday afternoon live. Starting on March 4th, I will be doing a live Facebook on Thursday evenings at 7:30, I think it is. I think it's 7:30. And that's for anybody that's either been invited and accepted or requested to join my Parkland Stampers VIPs. And that's an exclusive one. It does not get broadcast out publicly, where these ones also get uploaded to my YouTube channel and on my blog. If there's anything on here that you would like to purchase through me, please use the host code on the screen or shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to help you out. And all week this week, I have been posting projects every day featuring one of the celebration items. I do not have today's up yet. I've been working on this, but I will have it up before supper time today. And I have featured 2 of the products. Please remember, celebration ends on February 28th. It is not a 3-month promotion this year. It's only 2 months. You don't want to miss out on all the free items that you can get for either a $60 or a $120 minimum purchase. Once again, thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.